Well, what an absolutely unbelievable result that is. I'm trying my best not to get carried away because there are other people in the house, but I am absolutely buzzing after that. What an unbelievable win. I honestly don't even think we played to the best of our abilities, and we could probably have done better, especially in the first half where we had opportunities, but we're in the title race. There's absolutely no denying it as it stands right now, but we now move into a very pivotal week in the title race because Arsenal have got Spurs tomorrow, where if they lose, then we beat Palace and we beat Arsenal next week. We go level on points with the top of the table. And Arsenal will have a game in hand on us, but that game in hand is Man City. So we've put ourselves in a great position with this result today. I cannot stress that enough. And then, of course, not only are Tottenham playing Arsenal at the weekend, Tottenham are then playing Man City in midweek as well. So Tottenham have the opportunity to really cause some issues in the title race. I don't want to sit here and say, come on Spurs, win both games, because genuinely if Spurs do win both games, they're back in it as well. So in an ideal world, I'd probably say Tottenham beat Arsenal, then draw with City, and we beat Arsenal. A massive ask, of course, but we've just beaten Man City and won 9 games in a row, so why can't I just sit here and say those things could happen, because I'm over the moon right now. Massive, massive week in the title race coming up, and I really, really hope that we have managed to put ourselves back in it with that performance. And if we can carry that momentum now into the Crystal Palace game, beat Crystal Palace. I mean, we should beat Crystal Palace. The teams we've played recently, to then go and beat Man City, we should beat Crystal Palace. And I don't want to write that game off so early, but I'm going to go on the assumption that we beat Crystal Palace. We then go into the Arsenal game with the opportunity to really put ourselves in with a chance. And then we're competing on all 4 fronts. We'd be in the title race. We're in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup with 2 legs against Nottingham Forest that we should win. We're in the FA Cup next round against a lower league team that we should beat. And then, I think it's Reading. And then we've got the Europa League against Barcelona. So we're in it. We're in competitions on all fronts. The squad looks like it's doing well. We've brought in a new striker in Wout Weghorst, who I would have actually liked to have seen today if he'd have been registered. I think we were lacking a little bit of pressing from the front and a bit of physicality up front. Didn't think too much to Martial's performance in that first half, so excited to see what Weghorst can do. But my word, what a win that is. 2-1 against Manchester City, the reigning defending champions, still in with a chance of, obviously, I mean, they're still ahead of us, but it's only a 1-point gap now. They've still got Arsenal to play twice. They've got Spurs in the week. They're really off form right now, so an opportunity to overtake Man City in the coming days could be absolutely massive for us. So that's that's the state of play. Let's actually talk about the game itself, and I'll start off with who I thought was man of the match today, and that was Wan-Bissaka, because yet again he's been overlooked by all of the pundits during the game and after the game, it appears. But he saw off Phil Foden and Jack Grealish today, which is absolutely no mean feat. That's no easy task. That's an incredible achievement for him. I know people will want to say, oh, where was Wan-Bissaka on the goal? But Haaland had made his move to the back post and Varane had let Haaland go. So Varane was the one that made the mistake for the goal in terms of defending the cross. And if anyone wants to know where David De Gea was, as I did my usual mini David De Gea rant, guess what, folks? He was leaning on the post again. So what chance he ever was going to have at stopping that cross was 0. But I'm not going to blame De Gea for the goal. The goal comes about because for the first time all game, they managed to pull Fred out of position. And I thought Fred was my runner-up for man of the match was Fred today, because he kept De Bruyne very, very quiet. But for the first time all game, Fred had been pulled way out of position, meaning that he wasn't on De Bruyne. De Bruyne nips into that space, gets around Casemiro, who's not the quickest. Good ball to the back post. And like I said, Wan-Bissaka had 2 to deal with, didn't really know who to go for, and Jack Grealish scores the goal, and it's a good goal from Man City. And like I say, not really a lot anyone could have done about that goal. It was a good goal in the end. Fair play to Man City. But then the response was, at first, worrying. But then we grew and we grew. We made a couple of changes. The introduction to Garnacho was the key. He changed the game. He just gave City a little bit of threat. Just forced their defensive line back a little bit. And then moving Rashford down the middle, his runs in behind were just starting to stretch the play a little bit. And that's where the goal comes from. And we do need to talk about the goal, because I do need to give my opinion on the Bruno Fernandes goal. I don't think it should stand from an interpretation of how I think the rules should be. However, I don't make the rules. And under the rules, it's a perfectly good goal. And I know Man City fans are going to be fuming, and if it had been the other way around and City have won because of a goal like that, I'd be sitting here fuming about the goal that Manchester City have scored to win the game. But the rules state that if he doesn't touch the ball, and if he doesn't interfere with the movement of any of the Man City players, then Rashford's not offside. And Rashford does not touch the ball, and he does not affect the movement of any of the Manchester City players. So the goal stands. If it was up to me, the goal wouldn't stand, because in my opinion, if someone's offside and affecting the play in any way, shape or form, it should be offside. It's the same as the Liverpool goal that we saw against Wolves in the FA Cup, where Salah is offside, but he's then onside because Totti heads the ball. In my opinion, neither of those goals should stand, but under the rules, both goals should stand. Therefore, Bruno Fernandes's goal is perfectly legitimate. And then the second goal, well, Alejandro Garnacho, take a bow, son, because to have the nerve to ignore an easy pass to Fred, who's got a shot on goal, and to say, do you know what? I'm going to skin you, Nathan Ake. And not only am I going to skin you, I'm then going to put a perfect ball across to Marcus Rashford, the man on fire, who's just going to bury it straight away. I tip my hat to the 18-year-old, because, like I say, to have the nerve to even try that is good. But to pull it off is something else. And he's won us the game with that moment of brilliance. And I mean, we were sitting here the other day talking about a guy, Facundo Pellistri, who made an impact off the bench. And I was surprised he wasn't on the bench today. Would have liked to have seen him come on as well. But Garnacho, once again, delivers the goods. And, of course, Marcus Rashford delivers for the 9th home game in a row, the 7th game in a row after the World Cup, and gives us the goal which puts us into all those positions that I said about earlier on in the video. Before I go, just a couple of things to mention from other players. I thought defensively all round we were good. Like I said, Wan-Bissaka, in my opinion, was man of the match, seeing off Foden and Grealish, then going on that little mazy run as well. For people to genuinely sit there and say we need to sell Wan-Bissaka absolutely baffles me. Varane and Luke Shaw against Erling Haaland. Haaland did not have a single shot on target all game. He had that one shot that was blocked by Casemiro in the first half, but the only registered shot on target from Man City all game was the Jack Grealish header. So, testament to the whole defence for that. And then I also have to say well done to Malacia, because I went into that game incredibly scared of Malacia against Riyad Mahrez. When I saw the lineup and saw Martinez wasn't in the team, I was very, very worried about Malacia. But he put on a really good performance today. Considering how good Mahrez is and how good he's been over the last few weeks with all his little mazy runs and this, that, Malacia didn't give him anything. Absolutely nothing. And then, like I say, Shaw stuck on Haaland all game, didn't give him a sniff. And for a left-back playing at centre-back to do that, absolutely incredible. And really does put even more pressure on the likes of Maguire and Lindelof, because he's now shown the boss that if Martinez isn't available, he's the best option at left centre-back. So I think you'll see one of Lindelof and Maguire potentially leave this window, if not both leave in the summer. We don't want to leave ourselves too thin at centre-back, of course, but if Shaw can play that well, then when he starts losing his pace a bit over the next few years, I can see him transitioning into that position and then becoming our mainstay centre-back with Malacia as our mainstay left-back. So, good spot from Ten Hag to even try that, and then obviously for Luke Shaw to pull it off. And yeah, I think I've covered the majority of the players. Don't think I need to say anything else. Obviously, I didn't really mention Bruno that much, but he got the pundits man of the match. He obviously worked hard, did his job, and then got the winner as well. Got the equaliser as well. And yeah, don't really think I have much else to say. I've already been rambling, should I say, for about 9 minutes now. So all I have to say is thank you very much for watching. Drop a like on the video as always. Let me know in the comments what you thought of today's game and what you think of the state of play in the Premier League. Is the title race back on, or are Arsenal now just going to run away with it? Are they just going to beat Spurs tomorrow and go off into the sunset as Premier League champions, or can it now be a title race with Manchester United involved? So let me know down in the comments. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you very soon.